Hey there, and welcome to the latest episode of Healthy, Happy Humans podcast. And I'm Dave Sheehan, high performance coach over 30 years, and I'm here, as always, committed and dedicated to your success, your happiness, and importantly, your health, because your health is truly the foundation of everything else in your life. And that's why I start with healthy, helps you become happy, all those intertwined make you become more successful, financially free, happy relationships, and all of that. So this is what this podcast is about, and everything I do is to help you to become a healthy, happy human. And on this particular episode, we're going to answer the question, how do I become mentally strong? How do I become mentally strong? So let's start with me asking you a question. What does it mean to you to be mentally strong? What do you think it actually means? Because in the world, in society, what we typically see mentally strong is, really hard, don't show emotion, don't react to anything, you'd never cry, you'd never again show your emotions. When being mentally strong is not the absence of emotions. Like the reality is, you and I and every living human is an emotional being. It's just what we are. We're emotional beings. We react to and by our emotions. So when something happens, whether it be something, circumstance, situation, a thing, whatever it may be, you have an emotional reaction. That is an automatic thing that will happen. That is something that's going to happen. So being mentally strong isn't the absence of emotions. You're not a robot. You never will be, no matter how mentally strong you get. Being mentally strong is more about how you react to your emotions, how much of a hold those emotions will have in you, for how long will they have a hold on you, especially when it's a negative emotional reaction and energetic, which will be intertwined with that. So being mentally strong isn't the absence of emotions, it's about how to manage your emotions. That's the first important point. The next thing that's key is life's a roller coaster. And the sooner you accept that reality, the better for you. Because too many people are living their lives, and increasingly so in the modern world, and over the last few years, they're living lives where they expect that things won't happen, that things can be a straight line, that life can be a straight line, that, bad things shouldn't happen to them. And when things happen, they crumble and they've got no resilience whatsoever. And this is what having mental strength is about, that you have resilience, you develop resilience. But it needs to start firstly from accepting the reality and embracing the reality that life will always be full of challenges. Life will be full of obstacles. You will experience them, I will experience them, just like you'll have time to thrive as well. But the absence of obstacles, challenges is a myth. It can't happen. And if it did happen, life would be pretty boring if we're very honest with ourselves, okay? And obstacles and challenges are opportunities for you to grow as an individual. Like at a cellular level, you're either growing or dying. And if there's no challenges, you're never going to grow. So we need challenges, we need obstacles. They're an inevitability of life. But how do you react to them? What do you do when you get that emotional reaction? How do you react to it? Does it last for hours? Does it potentially last for days? Some people will hold on to things for days and days and days. So get out of your head that life can be a straight line. Life will never be a straight line. It is for nobody. You may look at some people and think, oh, they have it kind of easy. No one has it easy. There is challenges and obstacles in everyone's life, just they look different and they're all relative. Okay? So that's a very important starting point, because if you keep living a life expecting things to never go wrong, never have challenges, never have obstacles, you're never going to become mentally strong. You can't, because you're going to be constantly surprised, constantly shocked, constantly emotionally triggered. I remember what I said at the start, becoming mentally strong is really based and grounded in the foundation of learning how to manage your emotions. So if you're constantly expecting perfect and everything to be rosy, and it's not, your emotions are going to be all over the place. Okay? Next point I want to make is control what you can control. Okay? In life, there's loads that you can control. There's things that you can't control. Okay? Both sides. But also, really importantly, back to emotions and reactions, you always control your reaction to everything. So even stuff that's out of your control, you control your reaction to it. This is the beauty of life. You truly are in control of your life and all aspects of it. You're in control of what you do control and how you react to it. You're in control of what you don't control and how you react to it. And all of that will be based on your emotional state and your reactions and how you manage your energy. And again, how long an emotional reaction lasts for you. So focus on what you can control and focus importantly then how you react to what you don't control. But focus on what you can't control because that's what you truly have power over. So look at all the things you have control over. Like you can change your life in one decision. You can change your life in one action. Because again, that'll develop momentum and that builds and builds and builds. And each little step you take, each little challenge you overcome will give you more resilience, will make you feel better within yourself. Okay? What's important with all of this in terms of what you can control and how you react and your emotional state management and things like that, your self-talk. Your self-talk is a big part of it. Because again, when challenge hits and the emotional trigger is triggered, you have a voice in your head and you start to script about that situation. You also historically have a memory bank of how those situations played out similarly in the past. If you had similar situation or the exact same situation. And that would be your memory. And we like to do the same kind of thing. And this is where we have to break our comfort zones, where we have to break away from what's familiar. Because if our behaviors have typically been ones that don't serve us, we need to work on changing those scripts, changing those patterns, changing those habits, changing those behaviors, counteracting the environments that we are being impacted by. And this is where your self-talk is so important. Like, think about situations and how you've reacted and the talk you have going on in your head. And think about if you heard someone saying that to a good friend or family member of yours. How would you feel? How would you feel about that person who'd be saying it? You'd be pretty shocked and even in certain situations appalled and disgusted, wouldn't you? You'd be amazed at what is being said because our self-talk is the most damaging thing to us. Because for most people, their self-talk is so negative. It doesn't serve them. It puts them down. Like the reality is we have about 100,000 thoughts a day, 50-50 negative and positive. But which ones you listen to, which ones you giving your time and energy to, which ones you allowing to define your life, to define your decisions and actions. Because the negative thoughts are just a reality. They're going to be there. It's like a protection mechanism, evolutionary as well. Because we always want the safer option. We don't want to put ourselves in danger. It goes back to when we were trying not to get eaten by dinosaurs. We don't have those kind of threats anymore, thankfully. So we still evolutionarily have that. We're protecting ourselves. We're picking safer options. We're thinking of the negative to protect ourselves in the actions and decisions we take. But we live in a very different world now, very different reality. So we have to start to learn to manage our self-talk. So what's really key is when you have the negative thoughts, if something happens and you go into a negative spiral in your head and you start attacking yourself, especially, because this is the big thing. People have very poor self-worth. People have poor self-esteem, self-image, self-confidence. And as a result of that, their self-talk is very negative. And then when situations happen, whether it's stuff they control or don't control, they go into a negative spiral. When obstacles and challenges happen in life, they're very shocked and disappointed and overtaken and overwhelmed by them. So again, they have a very negative reaction to that as well. So you see how, again, everything's kind of interconnected, but it comes back to your self-talk. So your self-talk will be that immediate thing after the emotional trigger. So something happens from a situation, a circumstance, a person, a thing, whatever it may be. You get an emotional trigger, that's part of being human. Your self-talk kicks in. Is it serving you or not serving you? So you need to learn it. It's a skill. It's a skill you need to develop. You need to learn the ability to change that self-talk into one that will serve you. Doesn't mean becoming super positive and optimistic even in the depths of the hardest challenge ever. But it does mean bringing it back to managing your emotional state and bringing it back to level and having a realistic viewpoint and going into solution mode and being more optimistic than negative about overcoming it. Because there's a solution to every single problem. Every single problem is a solution. So we should be on more the optimistic side because it's within our control to change things in a positive light because we have so much control over so much. Remember, focus on what you can control, then focus on your reaction to what you don't control. Okay? That's really, really important. And this all ties into the importance of embracing challenges. Like, again, what's this podcast about? How do I become mentally strong or stronger? It's impossible to become mentally strong if you don't have challenges. This is why I go back to my first point about it's an inevitability of life to have challenges and obstacles. Embrace it, thrive on it. When you're hit with it, go, okay, let's go. How are we going to solve this? Go into solution mode. But with every single obstacle and challenge, if you do embrace it and you go solution mode and you do your best to overcome it and find solutions and learn and grow from it, because every obstacle and challenge will have a learning lesson in it too, you build resilience. It's only through challenge you build resilience. So if you want a life void of challenge, you can't be mentally strong. It's impossible. It's impossible. We build resilience from challenge. No one wants challenges and obstacles. No one likes it, especially when you're going through it. But when you look back, it often is the making of you. It often leads to something really positive. But it all depends again on how you react emotionally, self-talk, your actions, your decisions from that incident. So it's important to build resilience, and you see it in everything. It's like even right now as I record this, we're in the midst of the World Cup, the final is what's left. If you look at, for instance, if you look at the Argentina, who were in the final, look at their last 4 games, they could easily have gone out. They were behind as far as I remember in all 4. And it looked like they're going out in all 4. What got them through? Their reaction, the resilience that they showed. So they showed incredible resilience and self-belief. And their self-talk didn't go into, oh Christ, we're 1-0 down, there's 5 minutes left, we're going to go out of competition. It was instead, we're going to find a way. We're going to break through. We're going to get an equalizer. We're going to get a winner. That's resilience, but it came from experience. It came from years and years of them, not doing as well, building together as a team, having obstacles and challenges, having tough times, but learning from the tough times and being determined to get better, better, better. Same happens to people in relationships. You might have a very challenging, difficult relationship, but when you go into the next one, if you've learned the right lessons from the previous one, you will be more resilient going into the next one. You'll be wiser going into the next one. You will know more about what you want, what you tolerate, and stuff like that. Same in, again, financial struggles. If you go through financial struggles, it gets really tough, very dark, very challenging. It impacts everything in your life. But if you learn the lessons from it, you either won't go through that again, or if you go through some kind of challenge financially again, you will be better able, better equipped, more empowered to deal with it and have more belief in yourself that you will deal with it. Same as health challenge. You get a health challenge of some sort. Same thing. Learn the lesson from it. Why did it happen? How can I do better? How can I prevent this in the future? Build again your resilience. And then if something does happen again, you're in a better state mentally and physically to then deal with it and to find solutions and overcome it and things like that. So, every challenge builds resilience. It's so important to have that. Okay. And just on my last point there, tying in health and so on. Physical health, emotional health, emotional health, general health, all these things are super important because all these things positively impact your life and they positively impact your ability to be mentally strong. They're all interconnected. So if you, for instance, consistently exercise and you consistently, for instance, resistance training where you're breaking down your body and you're challenging it, or maybe do cardio things like HIIT training, interval training, or you run races and you're always trying to beat your time. Every one of them is a challenge. Every one of them you have resistance to. Every one of them allows you then to grow and develop as a person. So it's really, really important for you to, prioritize your health and well-being from that perspective in terms of the challenges within that you take on, help to build resilience and everything else. Because challenge in one area that you learn to become good at and you become resilient at will feed into all areas of your life. But also really important is, the level to which you move your body, the level to which you have good nutrition, the level to which you have good hydration, the more mindfulness you have, the more control you have over your mind and your thoughts. Remember, this is the control tower. And for those listening, I'm pointing to my head where my brain is. That's the control tower. Your mind's the control tower. It's so important that you work it. You keep working on it every single day. It's not something that just gets resilient and gets strong. You have to work on it every day. Read, watch, and listen to things, as well as learning from your life journey and life experiences. Move your body, challenge your body, hydrate. Your brain's 83% water. If it's not adequately hydrated, it doesn't retain water, so it has to be adequately hydrated. then your focus, memory, concentration, mood, energy, everything's affected by it. So you need to focus on how can I improve my brain function? Because that'll have a huge impact on your decisions and actions. That'll have a huge impact on your reaction to obstacles and challenges. That'll have a huge impact on what your self-talk will be when you're emotionally triggered, and thus that'll have a big impact on your actual experiences. So you just see how everything is interconnected. Everything I'm going through is interconnected, but truly a foundation to all of it will be a control of your health and well-being, especially your mind and mental health. That's why mental health is so important. Because when someone has poor mental health, typically all areas of their life or most areas of their life are not going really well. When someone is really strong mentally, and like that, again, how to become mentally strong, they're in more control. And it doesn't mean things don't happen. Things happen to all of us all the time, but the way they react is completely different. The way they deal with it is completely different. Their emotional reaction is completely different. Okay? So focus on your health and well-being. That's something that's really important. Next point would be that, it's progress over perfection. Never expect perfection of yourself. Never aim for perfection. Never feel bad if you're not doing things in inverted commas perfectly, whatever that may mean to you. Same as if you're on any kind of program of any sort for any area of your life, to progress any area of your life. Yes, if you follow it exactly, that's brilliant. But what's more important is that you're progressing and moving forward. And it's never about never falling off. This is the misconception people have, and this is what society pushes out there, that if you fall off, if you do anything not on plan, if you do something wrong, whatever perception that may be in whatever area, that you're failing. Get that out of your head. Stop that. Again, ties to your self-talk. Tell yourself you're a failure, you're useless, you never get there, you can't do this, can't do that. It's not about perfection. No one is perfect. Doesn't matter if it's me, you, or whoever. Focus on progress. Progress is what matters most. Okay? So focus on progress. And as I said, it's not about never falling off. What it's about is falling off less frequently and then getting back on quicker. So over time, you develop the ability that you fall off less frequently. And when you do fall off, you get back on much quicker. Same as I said about your emotional state and learning how to manage it. Again, it's about that with your emotional state. You'll be triggered emotionally, but when you get a big high or a big low because of that trigger, you bring it back to level quickly. Okay? Same when you get hit with some stress. Again, it'll have a reaction. Bring yourself back to level, because it's at the level, a steady level, that you can make better decisions and actions. Never make decisions on a high or a low. So this is where our emotions come into things very much. Okay? But focus on progress over perfection. That's something that's really, really important. All that matters, you're moving forward. Remember the tortoise and the hare story. Tortoise got there in the end because it kept going and going and going, whereas the hare stopped. So too many people go gung-ho, go straight for things, that going 100 miles per hour, straight in, doing everything 100%. But if that's too much of a push for them, they'll typically inevitably give up at some stage. Focus on getting there. Focus on forward motion. And whenever you do fall off, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, why did I fall off? Learn the lessons from it, and then move forward more empowered. Remember, every single situation, every circumstance, everything you experience in life has lessons. So learn lessons from every one of them. Okay? So progress over perfection, always. Really, really important. Okay? So look, the bottom line is to get into your head that challenges and obstacles in life are an inevitability. You need to learn to manage your self-talk. You need to learn to manage your reaction, your emotional state management, same as your reactions to stress. Accept that it's a reality. There will be obstacles and challenges. Accept the reality that you are an emotional being and you will be emotional. You have emotional reactions, but work on improving your actual reaction in terms of how long it has hold of you. Work on bringing yourself back to a level emotional state. That's really, really important. Focus on what you can control. Prioritize your health and well-being. Remember the impact it has on everything. How you feel about yourself has a huge impact on what you do in life and all your decisions and actions. And it's no different than being mentally strong, mentally resilient. So it's really important to accept that reality, and embrace challenges and accept the reality. And you'll always find a way through. You'll always find a solution. And remind yourself of that. There's always a solution to every single situation, every problem. Always a solution. It's about finding that solution. Okay? So I hope all that kind of makes sense. What I want to do is I want to set you a challenge for the next 7 days. I want you to identify 1 to 3 things you're going to focus on doing every day. It could be that you're going to move for 15 minutes more. It could be you're going to journal for every evening. You're going to drink 500 ml extra water. You're going to, when you get a negative thought, turn it into a positive a few times a day. Do something that, again, is forward moving and is progressive, and especially around the health well-being, because like I said, it has such an impact on your mental health and the way you think and your mental resilience. And again, ultimately, like start the question, how do I become mentally strong? It's step by step by step. It's cumulative. It's like I say to people about me. People say to me, I'm so mentally strong and things I do and things I've done and so on. But I always say, I'm 31 years in the making as a recordist. 31 years, constantly, every day, committed to evolving into a better version of myself. So it's about having that commitment. And when you have that commitment, you're going to keep getting more and more mentally strong. So I hope this episode has helped you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do leave comments below, leave questions, thoughts, anything you want to share, and if you would add to it, that'd be brilliant. Love one conversation wherever you're watching this or listening to it. Please like, subscribe, follow, like, whatever it may be, because it makes such a difference. You need to tell the algorithm you like this episode, then it will give it to more people. That's all I ask you. Remember, I give my time up free to do this for you and to help you, and I'm very committed to your success and your happiness and your health. All I ask of you is to subscribe and then share it with anyone you feel it would add value to. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got a lot from it. Look forward to reading the comments. And next week, another special episode was one where I'm going to share, a lot of situations in life, and obstacles and challenges help to form me as I am and give me the biggest lessons. So it's going to be another great episode. There's loads of episodes there. Make use of them. And as always, I'm only a message away. Have a good one and keep going out there, taking action, being committed to evolving to a healthier, happier version of you.